One of the points we are making is this is not the first time in history a group of people have discovered that non-ordinary states of consciousness can impact performance at a deep level. That goes all the way back. And the example we give is a story from ancient Greece where they had the Eleusinian Mysteries. It was a 9-day death and rebirth, state-changing ritual that involved really kind of almost every so-called ecstatic technology you can imagine. They had prayer, they had chanting, they had meditation, they had distance running. I think they had wrestling. Those are flow triggers. And they also had kykeon, which was a potion at the heart of the ritual that modern chemists have sort of tried to backtrace, and we think it is an LSD derivative made from rye ergot fungus, which is the same precursor that Hoffman got LSD from. For ethnologists and anthropologists, this is sort of like one of those holy grail quests. Like, what's in the kykeon? So there's lots of people arguing back and forth, but it was Albert Hoffman and Carl Ruck at Harvard. He's a classicist at Harvard, and Hoffman is the discoverer of LSD, who put forth the idea that, hey, we think this thing is this LSD precursor. So most people tend to believe that story. The point we're trying to make, among other things, is it wasn't just this 9-day ritual where these guys trip balls, but more importantly, what they experienced while tripping, the illuminations, the inspiration, ended up seeding massive amounts of Western culture. A lot of Plato's philosophy came out of the Eleusinian Mysteries, a lot of Pythagorean's early mathematics. So way back in time, we see people accessing these non-ordinary states, tapping into a heightened level of information, inspiration, insight, intuition, creative problem solving, take your pick, and coming back and using that to seed culture. That happens throughout history. Usually, historically, the party gets out of hand and it blows itself up. And our argument is, hey, that's happening now at a bigger level than we've ever seen it. And there's a reason we might just get it right this time.
So talking about some of the different states of consciousness that high performers find themselves in, I guess maybe one question is high performers versus everybody else. If you're talking a $4.6 billion industry, obviously this isn't something that just high performers, but the broad spectrum is involved in.
Yeah, I mean, like we cover this later on in the book, and we make the point that this stuff has absolutely spread out of the extreme and into the mainstream, and that's what we're seeing. And you can find it everywhere. You can find it really obvious places. 44% of American companies are going to have a mindfulness-based stress reduction program rolling out to their employees this year. They're going to essentially take state-changing technology pioneered 8,000 years ago in monasteries, and they're deploying it in business. Now, we call it mindfulness-based stress reduction. We've given it a nice, safe name, but they're using meditative techniques straight out of spiritual traditions, and it's in 44% of American businesses. Yoga is a $28 billion industry, right? The action sports world, action sports, and this is my research in Rise of Superman, are packed with flow triggers. There's a lot of reasons, and we understand these triggers now, but action sports is a gigantic multi-billion dollar industry at this point, and it sort of goes on and on from there.
If what you've heard on Flow Research Collective Radio has been helpful, please consider doing us a solid and leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening to this. Reviews help us connect to a wider audience so we can get these peak performance principles out to more people.